Sadanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachahare Yamuna Tira Vanachahare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Pejana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachahari Yamuna Tira Vanachahare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Kunja Bihare. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. That's from the deities. That means that Galant is not different from the deities. So, we are reading, as always, from the Transcendental Diary, written by Hari Shauri Das, the personal servant of Srila Prabhupada. So the first thing are the glasses, the artificial eyes. So we are reading. It's okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So a Transcendental Diary travels with His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, August 1976 till October 1976 by Hari Shauri Dasa. It's Tamala Krishna Maharaja sent Prabhupada an update on his activities from Los Angeles. He said that Rameshwara had turned from Fiji, having successfully resolved the problem there. They were now working on amending the Fiji ISKCON constitution and were hopeful that it would provide a good situation. He said that he had postponed his proposed trip to South America until November or December because the reports on East Africa were too disturbing to ignore. Bhagavan was to go, quotation, Bhagavan was to go to Africa. For various reasons, he has not been able to go yet. And so, after consulting with a number of GBC men, I am going myself, personally, and leaving tomorrow. I do not want to let the situation delay further, as the reports received are not at all encouraging. I am concerned both for Brahmananda's well-being as well as the African yatras, and will pray for the strength to do the needful. So we stop here.
Who was speaking?
Tamal Krishna Maharaj. He updated the situation, and Srila Prabhupada wanted. I can't comment on this, especially the presence of Guru Maharaj, because I am not on such a level to comment the words of Hari Shauri Dasa and mostly the actions, activities of Srila Prabhupada. But we are reading these books because the books are the example for us, because Srila Prabhupada is the founder Acharya of the ISKCON. That means he is the example for us, And ISKCON, his body, is also the example for us how to serve and to go on. And Srila Prabhupada's disciples, as Tamal Krishna Goswami, they were also on alert, on the guard always, to update correctly the situation for Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada couldn't tolerate the spoiled situation, the bad situation in South Africa and in Fiji, and he left for this region immediately in spite of his, we know he was not a very healthy person, because I'm thinking now about humbleness very much, because he was so humble that he couldn't tolerate the disturbances in our movement, because he has founded it. And only he personally very often could repair the situation. That's why it was on him. And he immediately left to this region to correct the situation. I think it's good for me to understand how humble he was, Srila Prabhupada, and how obedient he was to his guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who empowered him to go to the east, to the center of Kali Yuga, and preach there. And that's why he gave everything to go on to fulfill the orders of his spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Now we are coming to Guru Maharaj. I'm sorry. Maybe you want to tell something, to comment, not to tell, just to make it clear for us, to understand what I have read.
Fiji is between India and Africa, a very little island. And Darwin installed this deity where Krishna is dancing on the head of, what is it,
Kali Yuga.
They have on the altar, they have a Kalia with Krishna dancing on his head. Because when Kalia was fighting with Krishna in the Yamuna, Krishna saved him, but he told him, go very far, and he went to Fiji. And so they opened a temple. The devotees went there, opened a temple. But somehow or other, this temple was never, registered as a property of ISKCON. There was always a problem in Fiji. Okay.
And I know that Tamal Krishna Goswami, he was preaching in Fiji.
Sorry?
Tamal Krishna Goswami was preaching in Fiji. Yes, I saw, yes. I know. And
Because Prabhupada would always, when there were problems, big problems, Prabhupada would always call Tamal Krishna to take care of the problem.
yes. So now we are going to Srimad Bhagavatam, Amala Purana, and Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayamudhirayet. Before reciting the class in Srimad Bhagavatam, that is itself the mean of contest, we pay our humble obeisances to the Lord Narayana and to the supermost human being, Narayana Rishi, and to the goddess of learning, Mother Saraswati, and the compiler or author of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva. It's not good. Okay, so Canto 7, Part 7, Text 2 or 3, because Text 2 has no comments. What is here? Text 2. 2 and 3. 772, 773. Shri Prahlado Vacham. Pitare prashthite smakam. Tapase mandarachalam. Udhotyamam param chakrur. Vibhuthadanavan pratim. Shri Prahlado Vacha. Pitare prasthite smakam. Tapase mandarachalam. Yudhotyamam param chakrur. Vibhuthadanavan pratim. Shri Prahlado Vacha. Pitare prasthite smakam. Tapase mandarachalam. Yudhotyamam param chakrur. Vibhuthadanavan pratim. Shri Prahlada Vacha. Pitare pristhite smakam. Tapase mandanachalam. Yudhotyamam param chakrur. Vibhuthadanavan pratim. Shri Prahlada Vacha. Pitare prasthite smakam. Tapase mandarachalam. Yudhodyamam param chakrur. Vibhuthadanavan pratim. Shri Prahlada Vacha. Pitare prasthite smakam. Tapase mandarachalam. Yudhodyamam param chakrur. Vibhuthadanavan pratim. Shri Prahlada Vacha. Pitare prasthite smakam. Tapase mandarachalam. Yudhodyamam param chakrur. Vibhuthadanavan pratim. So it's very important to repeat Sanskrit because our words, they can't explain, they can't contain this meaning because it is Devanagari, whole language, holy language. That's why they carry the meaning in themselves. Translation, first worldly translation made by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Prahlada Vacha, Prahlada Maharaja said, Pitari, when the demon father Hiranyakashipu, Prashthite, left for Asmakam, our tapase, to execute austerities, Mandarachalam, the hill known as Mandarachala, Yudha Utyamam, exertion of warfare, Param, very great, Chakruhum, executed, Vibhutha, the demigods headed by King Indra, Danavan, the demons, Prati, toward. Translation made by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Prahlada Maharaja said, when our father Hiranyakashipu went to Mandarachala mountain to execute severe austerities, in his absence the demigods, headed by King Indra, made a severe attempt to subdue all the demons in warfare. Again, Sanskrit. Shri Prahlado Vacha Pitari Prashthite Smakam Tapase Mandarachalam Uthotyamam Param Chakrur Vibhutha Danavan Prati. So there is no comment here, but one word. Yes, because this Mandara mountain, it was a place where Hiranyakashipu for 400 heavenly years was doing his austerities to get some boom, to get some profit for himself from Brahma. Yes, to be deathless. And when he left, he was just a boss, a leader of demons. The demons certainly, they got to become weaker. And the demons headed by King Indra, they had a very good possibility to, to get a victory on them, to conquer them. And that's why, in the absence of Hiranyakashipu, they began to fight with the demons. So we're going to the text 3. Pipilikara hiriva dishtya lokapata panaham papena papo bakshiti badanto vasavadayaham. The wordly translation. Pipilikai him. You don't have it. No. The third, because the second has no comment. I should take two. Okay. Pipilikai him. Oh, maybe we shouldn't. I read myself, the second verse. Pipilikai he by small ants. Ehihi, a serpent. Iva, like. Distya sank heaven. Lokaupata panaha, always oppressing everyone. Papena, by his own sinful activities. Papaha, the sinful Hiranyakashipu. Abhakshi has now been eaten. Iti, thus. Vadantaha, saying. Vasava Adayaha, the demigods headed by King Indra. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Alas, as a serpent is eaten by small ants, so the troublesome Hiranyakashipu, who always inflicted miseries upon all types of people, has now been defeated by the reactions of his own sinful activities. Saying this, the demigods headed by King Indra arranged to fight the demons. We take the next one, there is no comment. I read English. When the great leaders of the demons who were being killed one after another saw the unprecedented exertion of the demigods in fighting, they began to flee, scattering themselves in all directions. Simply to protect their lives, they hastily fled from their homes, wives, children, animals, and household paraphernalia. Paying no heed to all this, the demons simply fled. The next text, also not we. Yeah, there are no comments here till the text 9. I read this text simply. The next text 6. The victorious demigods plundered the palace of Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demons, and destroyed everything within it. Then Indra, king of heaven, arrested my mother, the queen. The next text. As she was being led away, crying in fear like a kurari captured by a vulture, the great sage Narada, who at that time had no engagement, appeared on the scene and saw her in that condition. That is about the wife of Hiranyakashipu, who was pregnant, and she was looking for protection by Narada Muni, and he protected her. Narada Muni said, O Indra, king of the demigods, this woman is certainly sinless. You should not drag her off on this merciless way. O greatly fortunate one, this chaste woman is the wife of another. You must immediately release her. The next text has already purport, small but purport. Text 9. King Indra said, in the womb of this woman, the wife of the demon Hiranyakashipu, is the seed of the great demon. Therefore, let her remain in our custody until her child is delivered, and then we shall release her. The purport is by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Indra, the king of heaven, decided to arrest Prahlada Maharaja's mother because he thought that another demon, another Hiranyakashipu, was within her womb. The best course, he thought, was to kill the child when the child was born, and then the woman could be released. Om Agyana Timirandasya Agyana Jana Shalakayam Chakshurumilitam Yana Tasmai Shri Kuravi Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtai Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtai Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Namine. Prabhupada Susam Bhantha Sarvatra Gaura Kripada Sati Krishna Marga Shri Guravi Namaste. I have got this mercy to give sometimes lectures on Fridays. And Omkareshwar Prabhu, who is responsible for this service in our temple, he told me, you read Srimad Bhagavatam, maybe a small comment or maybe absolutely not. And then I asked him about it. You speak on Sankirtan, yes? So, but we have taken so many texts, and I will say some words, and then I come to the main point of today's lecture, Sankirtan, and before marathon, Srila Prabhupada's marathon, it is important to speak on it. So Hiranyakashipu has left to stay on his toes to this hill, and he was standing there doing his tapasya for 100 heavenly years. And I asked today our very educated Pandit, very educated devotee, Anupama. Dhruva Maharaj was also doing austerities. He was standing in this vriksha asana, so on one leg, to come to God. And why? How long he was standing? Because I have forgotten how long he was standing. And Anupama Prabhu told me he was standing only 6 months. And I was so much surprised. I asked him, how for 6 months? And the others, we know Vidura was doing austerities for so long time, many others, and even Hiranyakashipu. So why Dhruva Maharaj for 6 months could already reach the aim? And Anupama Prabhu answered. He said, because Narada Muni was there. I was very much impressed by his answer. Because as for me, I don't, I'm trying to learn. I don't know the value of spiritual master, what he is doing to us, how we are indebted to him, to my Guru Maharaj, who is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and how to pay these debts, how to be a good disciple. And this example with Dhruva Maharaj shows us the difference between the devotees' austerities and non-devotees' austerities. Because Hiranyakashipu in this life, in this his lila, he was a demon. He was not even the demon, he was even the leader of the demons. And all the demigods, they were afraid of him, even Indra, because he was very powerful, and austerities he was doing only to be more powerful, not to help the humanity, not to help the people, not to make the fallen souls free, but to take everything for himself. The soft bed and the women, more and more and more, and more enjoyment. That is the feature of the material world, because material world is constructed this way. We can't do anything else but only wanting to have more and more and more pleasure in enjoying all these material necessities. Yes, because the fire, like a fire, the fire can never be satisfied. The fire can never say, oh, it's enough. It's enough. Now I am satiated. He wants always more and more and more and more and more to burn. The same thing is here. Dhruva Maharaj wanted to find a kingdom, to be a king. And it was so little. And Narada Muni showed him the difference between his material desires and the desire to come back to the kingdom of God, to get the planet where Dhruva planet where he is now. And his austerities were not like Hiranyakashipu's austerities, because Narada Muni was there. And Narada Muni explained him everything. Just a small boy, 5 years old, 5 years old he was. And he was standing on one feet in this very difficult, balanced asana position, vriksha asana, and meditating on God. And if not Narada Muni, he would have never understood it. And Narada Muni, he's just like not an angel, but something like this. He is flying everywhere. And he comes all the time to the place where he is needed. He corrects the situation that should be corrected. With Mrigari, how he was called, this hunter who was killing the animals, Chitraketu king, and different situations. Without Narada Muni, it is difficult. And when we listen, we're reading about Narada Muni's activities, so we see his protection. We feel his protection on us too. And that is the difference between demonic qualities and the divine qualities of Dhruva Maharaj and demonic qualities of Hiranyakashipu. And his wife, he has Prahlada Maharaj in womb. And Prahlada Maharaj was a devotee. He was a devotee all the time. And the most important characteristic of devotee is to hear, to have this ability to hear. And he was, just like Maharaj Parishit, was also hearing. He had not so much time, but he could hear. That's why he could come back to God. He could reach his aim. And Prahlad Maharaj, he, in his womb, he could hear already. And in his womb, he could understand already his destination and his task, his role, to preach. And to preach means to make free the fallen souls, to explain the people the role of the existence on this earth. And Prahlad Maharaj is preaching to his demonic schoolmates, demonic teachers, and his father certainly is not very much satisfied with his preaching. He wants even to kill him. The father wants to kill the child. That is a demonic quality. And we compare, when we are reading these descriptions, Srimad Bhagavatam is Amala Purana, that is the descriptions of the purest activities of Krishna, of his relationships with his all incarnations, because Mayavadis, they don't believe in it. They don't believe in the energies of Krishna, they don't believe in the diversity of relationships, because if they would have believed, they would have understood that they are also a small part and particle of this relationship, but they don't want to be. They are very puffed up persons, proud of their sattvic understanding of Shastras. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamati samahatma sudurlabhaha. The knowledge is very good. For example, me, I am lacking on knowledge very much. But the theoretical knowledge, they don't bring us to our aim to change our consciousness, to come to this wandeln im Herzen, to come to this change in our heart, to come from this animalistic position to the human consciousness and then to godly consciousness, to the love of God. So that's what I can say. I find it very much important for us to check ourselves, to ask if I am with Krishna or with Hiranyakashipu. If I want to serve 24 hours a day, or if I want to enjoy more or less. And then we can find the answer, because Paramatma, that is, Paramatma is our observer. Paramatma, he observes everything and he gives us the instructions. That is his task. Instructions, sometimes very dry instructions, without feelings and emotions. And through Paramatma, our gurus are speaking with us. And the instructions should be dry. For me, for example, when it is exact, and if I can hear, I am trying to learn how to hear, to be more humble, to be humble, not more, but to be humble first and then more and more humble. Yes, so we understand what to do. We understand what to do not only for ourselves, we understand what to do for the other people, because Srila Prabhupada wanted to help the humanity at large. That means all the people. because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us Maha Mantra without any discrimination. Maha Mantra has no discrimination in himself, and because there is no designation, that is Amala, Srimad Bhagavatam as well too, and Maha Mantra, that is the words of Krishna, that is his relationships, that is all his names and all his incarnations, that is all in Maha Mantra, and that is the purifying means for ourselves. It purifies us to get this ability to understand who we are. Even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was asking, Sanatana Goswami was asking Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so everybody thinks I'm a very educated person. I know so much. I'm Pandit, but I don't know who I am. And he considered himself to be a fool, because Mayavadis, they were blaming him for being not a serious person, for dancing and not reading very seriously and deeply the Shastras. But he said, so my Guru Maharaj, my teacher told me I'm a fool. That's why I can only dancing and singing. And we are singing every morning, not every second morning, Shikshastakam. No, we're singing Guru Ashtakam, and there Mahaprabhu, we're speaking about the first part, we're speaking about that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's continuing on dancing and singing, and his dancing and singing can make us free when we do the same thing, when we are singing and dancing. Today, I heard you were singing and dancing so intensely, crying, and so loud and so inspired. It is so nice to hear the sounds of Maha Mantra being pronounced in high devotional mood. So that's what I'd like to say. There's so much written about Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu, about Prahlada Maharaj's compassion, because Vaishnava is compassion. Titikshava Karunika means to be tolerant and to be compassionate, and that is Bhakti Bhushana, that is the decoration of Bhakti. Our Guru Maharaj has this name because he was saying about this yesterday, that he is a very humble person, because he is humble, and that's why he can follow his Guru, Srila Prabhupada. What is to be humble? I asked Guru Maharaj yesterday, and he told me something. He told me what the other devotees speaking about me, and I take it very serious, I hope. And I began to read something about humbleness. I have only begun to investigate this. I hope it will go on. And I got to understand that Trinada Pisunichana is really the way, the ability of chanting purely, because in this way we can, in this state, we can hear. And Trinada Pisunichana means to be more humble than a tree, and the tree is standing under the winds, under snows, under rains, under different difficulties of the nature, because a tree can't move. The tree has to stand only and tolerate. And the grass is also very humble because grass is in the street and the people, they step onto the grass. And yesterday I was speaking with Rambhakta Prabhu about this. And he told me they step onto the grass and the grass can get up. But if the grass doesn't get up but stays in this position of being stepped onto it, in this very humble position to be pressed to the earth, that means to be humble. Because when we're not humble, we can't tolerate the difficulties of preaching, the difficulties of the relationships. We can't hear. We hear ourselves. That is our mind. My, for example, is very crazy. That's why better not to listen to it and to hear it. That's why I begin today speaking about Sankirtan with that is a very nice book, 26 Qualities of Vaishnava, of the devotee. And that is, the feature is called humbleness, or a devotee is not defiant. It is called akrita droha. I read something from this book because I find it very, very, very much important for me. Before meeting, that is from Satsvarupa Dasa Goswami. But it is very, how to say, like what Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj is saying about humbleness. Before meeting my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, I used to think of humility as extremely elusive and mental. If one became humble, then wouldn't be he proud of his humility? It seemed more like an abstract game than a substantial reality. But now I have seen humility in Srila Prabhupada and in the great Vaishnava Acharyas of the past. In his Sharanagati, Bhaktivinoda Thakur evokes the attitude of humility in a way that is very helpful to devotees. Although Bhaktivinoda Thakur is an empowered, liberated Acharya, he describes himself as one of the fallen conditioned souls, and thus he laments having wasted his life without Krishna consciousness. He says that he is coming to Krishna consciousness at the end of his life, not because of his own virtuous decision, but because material life has ruined him and he now has no alternative. So in depression, I don't know what was Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but it looks like in depression the people are coming to God, coming to the temple. He is truly humiliated, forced by the vicissitudes of time and fate to be humble, helpless. I'm helpless, please help me. I have only one way to be humble. Devaki Mataji is very often speaking about this. Seeing gloomy death approaching, finding himself unable to enjoy sense pleasures, he humbly hearkens to the message of Lord Chaitanya. Bhakti Vinoda Thakur also expresses sadness that he did not surrender to Krishna long before, and this sadness is also a devotional sentiment. It is far superior to the blind enjoyer who goes along merrily in ignorance. The humble devotee, as expressed by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, captures the dictionary meaning of humble, aware of one's shortcomings. But beyond the dictionary meaning, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is seeing everything in its relation to Krishna. Having reached the point of hopelessness, he thinks he cannot be saved. And yet, And yet, going beyond hopelessness, hopefully it is spiritual sentiment on me, yes? And yet, going beyond hopelessness, he received the message Krishna's pure devotee compassionately delivered to him, compassionately. There is a hope. Krishna has saved so many fallen souls, and he can save another, Sharanagati. Therefore teaches us that humility is not a superficial thing. We can't pretend that. When we are pretending, we can see it ourselves, even. Me, for example, I can see when I'm pretending, and that's why we can control it. And when one day, maybe if it will come to be a natural state of mind, I will be happy, I know. It is deep, honest, and natural. It is deep, honest, and natural. And it comes when a conditioned soul sees his failure and unpretentiously begs Krishna for forgiveness and engagement in devotional service. The last one. It is difficult to stop to read it, yes. In his Bhagavad Gita, as it is, Srila Prabhupada writes, humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. And Lord Chaitanya in Shikshastaka gives the ultimate expression. That means it is absolute expression. There is nothing more than this. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. We should think because we're not. We don't know it exactly. That's why we should think. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige. So right prestige is allowed. We shouldn't humiliate our talents. We should develop our talents. And ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. When we're reading the qualities of a devotee, the first quality is compassion, but the second is humility. It's the second quality, humility. So I think it's a very, very deep sphere, very deep question to investigate. It is connected with the lust, because when we are lusty, we are competing. I am better, you are not. I am more, you are less. It is mine, that is not yours. Then ahankara is flourishing with roses, I don't know what flowers, and killing us. Yes, but if we are humble, the lust has no place in our devotional practice. There is no place for lust, there is no place for not spiritual desire, because karma also desires. We are chanting Gayatri, but karma can mean material desires, and karma means also the spiritual desires. And the spiritual desires are always fulfilled by Kamadev. So I will not speak about this because I'm not prepared to speak on this very holy, very spiritual topic. But we shouldn't think that humbleness is to put on something on our head. It's etiquette. We should put sari on our head. The Matajis when we are on the altar or in the temple, certainly. But it is also humbleness of being humble, because that is the etiquette. Bhakti Chiru Maharaj was giving a very beautiful seminar on this, yes, because humbleness is not superficial, humbleness is not artificial. We put this sari, we cover our head because We want to serve the etiquette. We want to serve the acharyas who have created this etiquette for us. That is all done for us to come back home. That is not done for acharyas because of their, for the sake of their, I don't know, ego or their proudness. They have given everything to us for us. And we should be thankful. I wrote, I will not to say when and for whom, but I wrote, I don't know how, I wrote in one of my, how to say, offerings, that how I wrote it, I have no idea. I don't know why, it was not controlled, but I wrote it that I want to pay the debts. I am indebted. I am indebted to my spiritual master, I am indebted to the acharyas, I am indebted to the devotees, I am indebted to Krishna Bhagavan, who is giving us the spiritual sentiments, spiritual emotions, who is giving us love of God. So, and I think that is very important to understand it, to know it. How to pay the debts. We have our gurus, they teach us. We have books we can read. We have devotees who are very experienced, who have wonderful knowledge, like Mahabodhi, Rambhakta Prabhu, Arjuna Vallabha Prabhu, Anupama Prabhu, and what to speak about our spiritual masters. And without humility, we can't distribute books. Because then we think I'm preaching, or I have said so many persons, or I have given Maha Mantra to someone. I'm not giving Maha Mantra, I'm giving the book. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already given Maha Mantra. It is already, everything is given. Narada Muni is always with us, he is protecting us. And that is, everything is given. We shouldn't speculate or create some different things. That's why we should only go on practically. That is such a unique thing Srila Prabhupada has given to us. That is practical devotional service. That is practical love of God. That is practical respect. That is practical wish to pay our debt. That is all practical. Why? Because we can show it. We can do it. We can do it because of our own purification, and this process of our own purification, it involves the others in this process of purification, like diamonds in the sack. We are, how to say, frictioning, that's a friction. And then the diamonds will be shining beautifully with all their sides. That's what I can say now about humbleness. Maybe it's too emotional, but I'm an emotional person. Yeah, it's difficult to stop it, and maybe no need. Now I want only, I'm reading because I want to give it as it is from Srila Prabhupada. That is also a wonderful book. Wonderful book. Yes, Preaching in the Essence. I have got this book and this book from Mangalanandana Prabhu, who was preaching for 30 years, distributing books. My god brother was giving wonderful lectures, was absolutely spiritually passionate when he was singing, when he was dancing, when he was giving his obeisances to our Guru Maharaj, speaking about him. I am thinking of him very often. Unfortunately, I have known him. I got to know him a bit late. Later I didn't distribute books with him, but he told me, once he told me, he was ill. Maybe it was not so real for him, but he told, you should take my books. Me, such a pandit. And these books are from him. That's why I read from them. Because he's also our Acharya, our Sankirtan Acharya. He has made the great dynasty of the devotees who are remembering him till today and distributing books. That is preaching method, how to preach. It is not about techniques. I can speak about them, but not today. One has to preach following to clear advice given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Advice. Yaradekha Tarikaha Krishna Upadesha Amara Ajnana Guru Hana Tara E Desha. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Krishna, of Lord Sri Krishna, as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu further advised the Brahmana Kurma. If you follow this instruction, your materialistic life at home will not obstruct your spiritual advancement. Indeed, if you follow these regulative principles, we will again meet here, or rather, you will never lose my company. At whosoever's house Sri Chaitanya accepted his alms by taking prasada, he would convert the dwellers to his Sankirtana movement and advise them just as he advised the Brahmana named Kurma. This is the sublime mission, that is the sublime mission of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Many people come and inquire whether they have to give up family life to join the society. But that is not our mission. We can remain comfortably in his residence. We simply request everyone to chant the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I have prepared for today one small video. That is a song of one Mataji, Mahadevi Dasi. She is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and she was 24 hours a day distributing books. Very, very, very books she has distributed. And if possible, maybe, if you don't object, or it is too much, please tell me. That is her song. If you want to not. Guru Maharaj, is it okay? It is video, a song. No. I don't know. So I have prepared it, but I don't know if it's okay. I will do it if I have it. Let's listen. It is working? Huh? It is YouTube. Oh, it's very, maybe not. No, I think we will not do it next time. Because it can be very long. Now it's already 8:45. Next time. But I read one more thing. Stop, one more thing. No, I best not. Best I ask you to speak. Maybe you can speak something, you can say something. Because today my idea was to speak on humbleness. And Krishna gave me so beautiful examples of Hiranyakashipu and Dhruva Maharaj, where we can see what is humbleness and what is not. There are different stages of humbleness, different levels. But this is okay for today. And Guru Maharaj, maybe you, if you like, to comment, I don't know, to help me to finish my lecture correctly. So maybe you can say something.
Thank you very much.
Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Guru Maharaj. Maybe someone else, Anupama Prabhu. You. Sitaram, I'm sorry.
Krishna Maharaj, thank you for your lecture. And something I didn't understand. You talk about humility and humbleness, and then you say something about lust. But what has lust to do with it?
About what? Lust?
Lust, what has that to do with it? Because I can't understand.
Kirtaniya Sada Harihi. If you're humble, you can hear Maha Mantra. In Maha Mantra is the way of purification our consciousness. There is no fighting in it. There is no competition in it. There are only pure relationships with Krishna. There is only our pure request, please engage me in your pure devotional service. That means 24 hours, if we are thinking about Krishna, 24 hours a day, then there is no humble, in a humble state of mind. Kirtaniya Sada Harihi. There is no place for lust. There is no place for competition. I mean material lust. Yes, we're speaking, I can't speak about higher levels, I speak about what I can speak only. So that is what helps us to come to the pure state of mind. It doesn't mean liberation. It doesn't mean these 5 levels of liberation. We need the pure state of mind to preach. We need the pure state of mind to serve in the temple, to put outfits on the deities, to do all these kinds of devotional service we are doing. And that is the basis. That is the basis to come to our human consciousness and then to come to Krishna consciousness. There is no place for lust when we are humble. There is only should be only respect. Only respect. And the wish to go on more and more, because it is a beautiful process. Because beauty is the most important feature of Krishna. And we are getting more and more and more and more beautiful. Because being engaged in devotional service to Krishna, we are empowered by his energy of devotional service, his energy to be a servant of God. And this energy is getting more and more beautiful in us. And if we are getting more and more beautiful, Krishna is also getting more and more beautiful, because he is getting more and more satisfied with us. And Maha Mantra is the main means to come to this state. There is no lust when we are humble. This material lust doesn't exist. Karma, artha, moksha even, and dharma, the religious principles that can be disturbing, that can be like designations, these religion principles. They're not disturbances. But I should read more Bhakti Tirtha Maharaja's books and the other nectar of devotion. There are much about humbleness, and I will read it. That's why. Maybe next time we can speak more together about it. Maybe I will give you some topics, some cards, because I'm a teacher, just like a lesson. Yes, I'm not a good teacher, but this teacher rings in me. What can I do? Yes. So thank you very much for the question. I hope I have answered correctly, Anupama Prabhu. Can you correct me? But simple, please.
Very simple.
I'm not on such.
No, very simple. When we're doing Sankirtan in Holland, very difficult country. When One devotee was asking this question to Bhakti Swami, how to become more humble. He said, it's by being more humble. But I was thinking of Einstein's statement. He said once that if I compare my knowledge, and he's a Nobel Prize winner.
If I compare what?
My knowledge, my understanding.
My knowledge.
I have to quote it properly, maybe you can help me a little bit. With the amount of knowledge in the universe, then my knowledge is just like a pea. This much. So you can become humble by seeing yourself in the right proportion. Who are you? So for us, it means understanding that we are 1/10,
One ten thousandths of
yeah.
1/10,000
100 means
of the hair.
10,000th part of the tip of a hair. And we have an ego 10,000 times bigger. So if you realize what you are, then this endeavor to separately develop these qualities are not necessary. You go to the center, the essence, all these come by itself. We have to remain in our sthita prajna, so if you can stay in a state, then things become more easy. And my realization of Sankirtan was, Sankirtan on the street is a very nice reciprocation with Krishna. When you're humble, people come to you. When you think I can do it, then nobody comes. When you come to the Atmic level of compassion, what the soul has, you see people, what kind of books do you have? Somebody comes around, you got a very nice aura, you know? Well, because you're thinking of Krishna, right? If you think of Maya, then people see, hey, what are you doing? they reciprocate, people on the street. So it's a measurement, it's a barometer of how Krishna conscious you are. It's Sankirtan.
Yeah, now we're speaking with Krishna, and then now we're saying, yeah, look, there's so many people in this country, there's more countries, there's more planet full of people, you know, and let's say in Köln, maybe 1.5 million or something, so who are you? Who are you?
Tamal Krishna подписался. Okay. Yeah. To say something.
Насколько мы можем осознавать нашу зависимость от Кришны,
I translate.
и глубина нашего понимания смирения.
So much, or in that amount, how we can understand our dependence on Krishna. So that much we will be, что? Мы будем, насколько мы будем, настолько мы будем. So that much. So that much we understand. In this amount, we can understand how we are dependent of Krishna. So in that amount, we can be humble. The more we understand we are dependent on Krishna, the more we are humble. That is a way of surrender. Artificially we can't do it. Mama Pichanati. Forgotten moment. One second. Because I'm not speaking often, that's why I'm forgetting what I have learned. Yes, I have it. I read in English maybe because I Bhakti Mama Bichanati Javan Yaschasmi Tatvataha Tatoman Tatvato Jnatva Vishate Tat Anantaram. So the one can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. That's Bhakti Mama Bichanati. So I don't know what it's, that's what I can say. If you want to say something, I don't have so much possibility to read, and just at the beginning of coming to the temple, I was serving 24 hours, and 10 evening I was going to bed to sleep, and I'm trying to read more. But yes, when you're reading more, it saves. That is our save our souls. Shastra, Sadhu Shastra Guru. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhakti Bhushan Maharaj ki jai.
Lilamrita Mataji SB.
I'm not shy.